Hello and welcome to your weekly Oracle card reading for the week of November 10th, 2014. Our reading this week comes from Doreen Virtue's Archangel Oracle cards. And the first card, which represents the first half of the work week, we see Spiritual Understanding, Archangel Radleigh. I am bringing you esoteric information and symbols and helping you understand spiritual truths. So as you move through the beginning of this week, expect to receive some enlightenment, perhaps get some messages for yourself in new ways, or maybe being more open and getting more clear information through whatever gifts or talents you're already working with. This card in particular I'm a fan of because we see what looks very similar to Metatron's cube, but it's a little different. It's the seed of life we see in the very center of this shape, this esoteric image, as he says in the card. And the seed of life is obviously that's the root of everything. And on a spiritual standpoint, that is where it all begins. So for me, the imagery of this card very much dictates that through the beginning of this week, you may be experiencing a new beginning within your spiritual journey. Whether it be a brand new beginning or an expansion, like I had already said, on something that you're already working with. For me, this card particularly speaks on a leap forward, a new journey, a new phase, but the moving forward of something that you're already working in, or the next phase of your journey, which may be a new adventure. So as you move through the rest of the reading, there may be more clarity, but let's see where we are now. Second half of the week, we see prioritize. Archangel Metatron, focus on your highest priorities. I will help you get organized and motivated. So again, this is feeding into the feeling that they're giving me about there's a shift, there's something that has taken a leap forward, and it's easy in the excitement and the confusion of a shift on a spiritual level where we can get very distracted and we can kind of get lost in the moment. So prioritize what it is that you're looking to do with this, what role of service it can play for you, or how you can utilize it in your life in a positive, contributive way. I'm very big on service. I feel this stuff is our responsibility to use these gifts for service in some way, shape, or form. So the focus for the second half of this week, as we are getting this advancement, as these things are moving forward for us, is to really look at organizing. Sitting down, making sense of it all. I don't want to use the terminology setting out a game plan, because as soon as we think we have a plan, the universe laughs. I will simply say, set an intention and ask Metatron's help to set an intention of the direction you would like to move with this, and then leave the rest up to them. But definitely have a focus on where it is you want to go with this, or what it is you want to do, whatever this new expansion is, what direction you would like to see it go in. And and you always must ask, is it for your higher good, and is it of the highest truth? And it's interesting that, pardon me, that Radleigh is holding something similar to Metatron's cube, and now we see Metatron stepping in, of course, Metatron's cube, who is really in charge of our life purpose work, him and Michael. So I'm sure it's no accident that this is something that's moving you towards focus on this being part of your life's purpose, maybe even as a career, which I have a sneaky suspicion, because I've already drawn the real cards, that they're going to touch base on that. So let's move through to the weekend. So as we move through the weekend, pardon me, we see leadership, Archangel Gabriel, or Gabriel if you're particular to the original Orthodox viewpoint of the angels, being all men. It is time for you to assume your leadership power and position and lovingly guide others. So from the beginning, the sensation I've been given with this is that you, as so many others right now, as this year is wrapping up, the whole point of this year was this rebirth, are really being accelerated in your shift to assume your role with the rest of the light workers to help guide others so they can experience their ascension, they can experience their enlightenment and awakening. So as you guys are all being activated and things are happening for you and you're really expanding, you're going to break away from the workshops that you take and the people you go and see and the groups you attend to and the meditations you go on a weekly basis for. And it's not that you're going to leave them behind. You're going to be branching out and maybe holding your own workshops. Very likely doing your own healing work. Perhaps hosting your own meditation or spiritual meetups. And this is where, as we achieve that level of comfort with our abilities and gifts, and comfort with being able to be so confident in what they have taught us. When I say they, I mean the angels, but as well as our fellow light workers that we work with. It's a community, and we always must work together, helping one another. Everything that everyone has showed you, and you feel confident enough to translate that and then reteach it in such a way that you're being responsible to the truth without clouding it with your own opinions or agendas. And usually people who are really moved to be of service, that typically isn't an issue for them. But certainly when we go into something with a defined definition of what it should look like, and if it ends up not looking that way, we get upset with it, or upset with some of the people we're trying to work with. And it's a fine line that we have to walk. And I speak from this from experience, and I speak from this from witnessing it with other people. It's delicate, and you very much have to have an open mind for that flow and for the angels to take those groups and those meetings in whatever direction they need to go. Even if it's not what you had intended it to be, you have to be open to it and accept whatever direction it goes to. And that is a true symbol of a good leader. So keep that in mind as you are given opportunities to become a leader in some way in this spiritual journey you're on. And finally this week, I asked the angels to give me an angel number, a message, a specific message that they want to give you guys right now. We're coming off of a couple of high energy and then low energy weeks, and it's been like a roller coaster for a lot of you out there, as it has been for myself. So I wanted them to give us a message that would really resonate and kind of give us a good affirmation that everything's going where it needs to be. And sure enough, they gave me 679. You're going in the right direction as far as your career and divine life purpose are concerned. So here you are revisiting this shift, moving forward, assuming some sort of a leader role, and being able to gently and responsibly help guide others to their ascension, to their enlightenment and their awakening. And here we see our message telling all of us that we are moving in the right direction, not only as our divine purpose goes, but as our career goes. So many of us will be doing this either as a career, because it is of service, but we do live in a materialistic world, and therefore we have to charge for our time in order so we can pay our bills and cover the expenses of the materials that we're putting money out for. And especially when you first get into it, it's a hard pill to swallow. You have to charge for doing what you love, and you have to charge for doing what you feel is God's work. But there comes a point in time when you can't go bankrupt because you want to serve. And the universe, and what we define as God, wants us to be abundant, both in life abundance as well as financial abundance. So the idea and the programming that in order to best serve God, you have to be impoverished and dress in rags and live in a stone shack or a stone hut where you eat crackers and rice every night and you read by candlelight is fictitious. And we have to be able to accept and set a specific value to our service. And until we do that, it'll be very difficult for us as light workers to be able to then transition our divine life purpose and why we are here on a spiritual level into our career purpose. And it's a hard battle. It's a long road. I have still not really reached that spot where I'm comfortable charging. I'm still charging very little for my services. There have been slight increases, but it's something that we all struggle with. So understand going into this, you're not alone. If you feel weird, you feel awkward, you feel wrong. And we certainly must be cautious not to judge others for what they charge. There are certainly some people out there who have a sort of a pseudo-celebrity status, and this warrants them charging $400 for 15 minutes or $2,000 for an hour. And there are reasons for that, business reasons why that has to happen, so that only the people who really are coming for help are getting through, and not everyone who's seen that person on TV. So we got to reserve judgment against those who do charge, and in our opinion may be charging too much, and we have to come to terms with us charging in order for our divine purpose to be able to transition into our career. And I don't know why I went on this little diatribe. This is what they were giving me to say, so I said it. So with all that, I hope that this message has fallen true to your ears and has meant something to you. And as we move through this next week, there definitely is a energy shift once again, but I feel it's a positive shift. I think we're being brought back up from that challenging week and that challenging energy, and we're being put into a positive moving forward from here type of energy, and not letting anything stop our progress forward. We may have to take a couple steps sideways and once in a while a step backwards, but never lose that drive to keep stepping forward. And that'll wrap up another week. I thank you all for listening, and as always, if anybody has any comments or questions regarding this week's reading or services we provide, you're welcome to reach out to me here on the Facebook page at daniel@advancedangelcards.com, or through the Google voicemail, Google Voice Angel Hotline, 747-444-1022. And keep in mind, too, I do have the interview series up on YouTube, and this Tuesday I'll be interviewing Intuitive Mitchell, YouTube celeb and extraordinary medium, psychic, and life coach. Thanks again. Have a great week.